When you speak to her like a high-value man, you're not just talking, you're commanding attention, you're setting the pace, you're showing her that you're not here to beg for her affection, you're here because you know your worth. The way you talk should make her feel like she's in the presence of someone who can lead, someone who has control over his life, his emotions, and his desires. And when she feels that, it's not about games, it's about real connection. You've seen it before. The guy who doesn't even have to try. He walks into a room and commands the attention of everyone. Not by being loud or overbearing, but because there's something about him that radiates power and self-assurance. He doesn't care if people notice him, but they do, because he's not looking for validation from anyone, especially not her. He doesn't need her to feel validated. He already knows he's a catch. The thing is, the way he talks to her is effortless. He's not trying to impress her with empty compliments or stories about his achievements. High-value men don't need to brag. His words speak for themselves. They're confident without being arrogant. Every word he says is meaningful, intentional, and carries weight. And when he talks to her, she feels that weight. She feels it because it's a reflection of who he is. He knows he's someone worth listening to, worth being around. So what is it about the way he talks that makes him different from every other guy trying to impress her? It's simple. He's direct. He's confident. He doesn't beat around the bush, and he never apologizes for being who he is. And because of that, people, especially women, want to be around him. When you speak to her like a high-value man, you're not trying to convince her to like you. You're letting her know that you're the kind of man she could easily imagine by her side, not because you need her, but because she needs to be in your life. Now, most guys think being direct is about just saying anything. They think being blunt means being rude or harsh. But high-value men don't waste words. They say what they mean, and they mean what they say. There's power in that. The way you speak to her should show her that you're not just another guy looking for attention. You're a man who commands respect, who knows where he's going, and doesn't need validation along the way. And that's where most men get it wrong. They overcompensate by trying too hard, talking too much, or looking for ways to impress her. But a high-value man? He doesn't need to do any of that. His words are carefully chosen, deliberate, and precise. When he speaks, she listens. Not because he's trying to control her, but because he's showing her that he's the kind of man who knows how to lead, not just in his life, but in his relationships too.
She thinks she's found her escape. In the arms of someone new, everything feels fresh, uncharted. It's easy for her to pretend it's better, easier. But you know better than anyone. The shine always fades. He's not you. He can't offer what you did. He doesn't have the strength, the power, the way you made her feel. And even though she's with him now, that truth lingers like an unspoken tension between them. She's with him, but she's still thinking about you. Still wondering if she made the right call. And that's the key. While she's out there, living her new life, you're not the one begging. You're not the one clinging to her memory. You've moved on. The power shifts when you stop caring. It shifts when she sees that you can live without her. Because for the first time in her life, she's forced to chase you. She won't come right away. She won't admit to herself that she's wrong. But as the days go on, as she watches him try and fill the void that only you could fill, she starts to feel it. She starts to realize that maybe she messed up. That maybe, just maybe, you were the one that got away. She'll tell herself she's fine. That she doesn't need you. But she won't be able to shake that feeling. Every text she sends, every date she goes on, every conversation she has, she starts comparing it to the one that mattered, to the one that hurt her, to the one that, deep down, she knows was irreplaceable. And in her mind, you'll always be the one she could never have back. Not completely. Not like before. And that's what eats at her. That's what haunts her when she's alone at night. Lying next to him, wishing it was you. But she'll never say it. Not to you. Not to anyone. Instead, she wait. She wait until the silence eats at her too much. Until the regret is too strong to ignore. And when she can't take it anymore, that's when she come crawling back. begging for you to take her in, for you to forgive her, for you to make her feel something real again. But by that time, it'll be too late.
There's an undeniable magnetism that comes from speaking with purpose. When you speak like this, it's not about manipulation. It's about genuine connection. She'll feel that. She'll feel your strength and presence without you even trying. And even though she's been surrounded by men her whole life, none of them have made her feel like you do. You don't need to chase her. She'll be chasing you, trying to figure out how you became the man who has everything and how she can be a part of it. High value, men don't just speak with power once and expect everything to fall into place. No, it's about how you show up every single time you interact with her. It's about making sure that every word, every sentence reflects your strength and your understanding of who you are. When you speak to her consistently like this, she'll start to see the difference. It won't matter what she's used to, hearing from other guys, because you'll set a new standard. A man who speaks with clarity and purpose. A man who doesn't say things to impress, but to express what he believes. And that's where the magic happens. When she starts seeing you for who you really are, her interest will rise. Not because you're playing games, but because she'll recognize that you're different from the rest. You're the kind of man who has something to offer. Someone who brings value into her life. And she'll begin to wonder if she's worthy of you. But here's where most men fail. They give up too soon. They think they've said the right things. And now the woman should be head over heels. But high-value men don't expect instant results. They understand that attraction isn't just a one-time thing. It's something that builds over time. They show her with their words, their actions, and their confidence that they are worth the chase. When you start speaking to her with real purpose, she'll begin to lean in. She'll want more. She won't be able to help herself. Because now, when she hears you speak, it's not just words, it's an experience. Every time you talk to her, it's a reminder of your value. It's a reminder that you are someone who doesn't need to ask for attention because you're already commanding it without even trying. The key to all of this is control. You're in control of your own emotions, your actions, and your words. When you talk to her from a place of control, she'll naturally want to be in your presence. You won't have to try to convince her of anything. She'll see it in you, and that's more powerful than anything you could ever say. But don't mistake control for manipulation. High-value men never manipulate. They simply know who they are, and they're not afraid to show it. They aren't desperate to win anyone over because they know their worth. They don't need to play games, and they don't need to chase. They lead. And when she sees that leadership in you, that's when she'll start following.